This is the greatest thing we're getting ready to walk into. They got the canoe right here beside us. Okay, check this out. Canoe right here, made into like a half size. I'm not sure what he used it for, but it's right in front of this little shop. Business hours subject to change during fishing season. So wait till we go inside. This is amazing. Everything in here is just amazing. Handmade fishing lures and collection of fishing items.
And that big rig right there, that big pin.
That's a cool. Look at that.
That's
wow.
That's got some age.
And what was that for? Where were you? What would you catch with that?
Minnows. I have no idea.
Minnows.
You know,
is that for like deep sea?
Deep sea fishing. A big pin center to the reel with all the hardware on it.
Yeah.
And when they would come in, I tease them. I said, "Well, that's my bluegill rod."
That's your bluegill rod.
I think I've seen that in the movie
Surgeon's Fury.
Yeah.
Down there on the back of that boat, and he was sitting that thing.
You ought to hear the click.
click.
Hear? That's real. It's on there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
When you turn that on and you hear that click.
Couple small gigs.
The gigs and eels.
That's sturgeon.
Well, this is a fun one here. What is that one for?
Autogaffs. They were outlawed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
People were playing around with them.
Yeah.
And hurting each other.
Oh, geez.
I've got 3. I've got a small one up there.
Oh, okay.
Small version. These are usually used on the lake.
They're used up in.
Those open and come back.
Yeah.
You can't get out.
Those fingers sticking up, that would come across its back, and then it just snaps shut. And he's not going. He can't get away.
Can't get away.
Problem is, there's no catch and release.
No.
You're keeping it.
Right. Very
now, the
cool.
only thing it is
so did the fingers trigger it somehow? Or?
So these are all antique pieces all through here. And a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Oh, he's got it opened up.
When that hits that back,
Snaps it right.
I mean, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
Big time. I'm going to pull those off.
Wow.
But that is
All sorts of stuff
super
in here.
wicked there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
So,
You don't want to get caught up in that one.
Fingers in there.
no, and
That's
people
amazing.
were playing around with them
Yeah.
and getting hurt.
Yeah.
And they said, no, that's not a good idea.
Right.
You know, so they done. Now, Marbles up there out of
Oh,
Wisconsin made the
these are
knives.
so cool.
They made one too back at the turn of the century.
Yeah.
And they're a little more solid metal than stamped out like that. And but Norland made most of these, and they were different sizes, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of this little stuff I'd definitely get rid of.
Okay.
And I would like more stuff to display what I want to display.
Yeah.
And this isn't for sale. This is restoration.
Okay.
And
Man. Now, how long does it take you to make one of these?
my lures between 3 and 5 days.
3 to 5 days.
And that's just
The process.
3 or 4 hours a day. I'm not out here anymore like I was for I don't know how many years. I was open 6 days a week,
Yeah.
and then Sunday by chance or appointment.
Wow. So each one of these took you 3 to 5 days. You got to carve them. The process, carve them out first.
Well, first thing is a rough out, and that's where the only power tool I have is a bandsaw.
Right.
That gives me the rough out.
Okay.
And then from there, I start carving.
You start carving. This is your carving
Now, if
set.
it's a decoy, then I'm going to weight it. I've got to weight it first.
Okay.
I've got to put the lead in it. And then the decoy has to have the approximate number of ounces of lead so it will go under the water.
Right.
But not fast.
It's got to sink at the right
So when you're
buoyancy,
jigging that
huh?
up and down and your spear's in this hand,
Right.
you want that decoy to be swimming.
Okay.
You don't want to be falling like a rock.
Right. Right.
And whereas the lures, they're weighted also. The top waters here, they'd be weighted in the rear end
Okay.
so that the head sticks up.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And of course, the jointed ones would be weighted here and here.
Yeah.
And then these are all top waters.
Okay.
They have a weight in the center.
Right.
And they're literally coming across the top. The muskies and the northern pike, they eat this kind of stuff up. And
How many lures have you made? lifetime.
I see a couple hundred.
So there's a couple hundred hanging in this room.
I would say I'm just gonna maybe 500, maybe 700.
500 to 700.
I never
never counted.
At the beginning, I never signed anything.
Yeah.
And then my wife started saying, you know, you need to sign stuff.
Yeah.
And all the decoys, everything is signed and dated.
On the
It's all
back of this
signed right
now,
there
they're
and
all
dated.
signed and dated right
Yep.
there. Look at that.
Yep.
That's so cool. Now, what I find interesting about this whole room the most is your desk.
Right here.
This is the tools of the trade.
Oh yeah.
You know,
There's nobody does this stuff
this
anymore.
is awesome.
No,
this
this is a
blows
treasure
my
right here.
mind.
Nobody paints with a brush.
No,
They're using an airbrush.
the individual carving tools here. I mean, if I sat down at that, you sat at someone's desk. If I sat at this desk and said, "All right, I'm going to do what he does today," not happening.
That ain't happening, is it?
It ain't happening.
I mean, look at those carving tools and the
That's so
paintbrushes
great.
and the little hammers and the. I mean,
Yeah, everything
Little animal
on
workers
here
cool, too.
that
That
you
is so
see there,
cool.
I use.
Tools of the trade. He
Now
uses
the
every
other
piece
stuff
of it.
is over there because it's not used as often.
Now
This
that's
stuff-
a lot of wood chips piled
All
up.
right, that's my third pile.
The third pile
40 some years.
in 40-some years. That's a lot of carving right there, guys. That's pretty amazing.
Oh,
Here's the designs.
Yeah, I've had-
Designs all through
I
here.
don't know if I want to call them apprentices or
This is
something
pretty
like that,
amazing.
but I had a
We go through here and look at all this and all the
few-
lures. I mean, absolutely crazy. Josh, isn't this just an amazing thing?
I love seeing somebody's handiwork like this. I mean,
What a treasure. This is so exciting. Look at the floats.
I think this might be my favorite piece, though.
That's pretty awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool. And then look at all these mounts back here, all the pike, and
Yeah.
I don't even know what these things are. Sturgler's owl. I know what the owl is.
Spoons he's got, like,
I would venture
Check
to say
it out.
This is all the wood chips from all 800 he's done ever.
It might be.
These are all.
Wow, this is the coolest thing.
that's just
I do
great.
know those are not turned on a lathe.
These are not turned on a lathe.
No,
You
sir.
you
You hand turned all those.
turn, hand carved all these and hand
Yeah.
paint every one of these floats.
No,
I never got paid what those are worth. With the time I had
Oh,
in
I
it.
bet.
I
Oh,
got
no.
orders from $250 to $300 out of each one of those, and sold probably 40, maybe 45 floats.
Okay.
But I
Wow, that's amazing.
I never made any money.
It matters what kind of wood you use too, probably.
And check this out here. All these right here, the
At beginning, I
shiners.
was using a lot of poplar, old poplar, and bass.
Made in New Burlington, Ohio.
And then I got hooked on sugar
Man,
pine.
this is crazy. I like this owl right here, Josh. That's pretty cool.
And
Yeah, it is.
Sugar pine. was
saw
used
that.
in all the
Now, Jacob, he was telling me about this. This is
What
a
is
rig
this?
for ice fishing, all right?
Ice fishing rig.
So, this is a one-off that we talk about American folk art.
Right?
This is folk art. This is something that a guy made this to sit over his ice bucket and he'd drop his line down in there,
Yeah.
all right? And then when that flag clicks off, he knows he's got a fish on, and he actually built in a brake to slow that down
Oh, wow.
so that the line won't keep going out.
So the line wouldn't keep going out. Isn't
So,
that amazing?
You know, this is somebody that, you know, they're in their shop trying to figure out how they could make something like this.
Yeah.
And it's just wonderful.
Isn't that awesome? Man, this is like just amazing. Everywhere I look, I see more interesting. I mean, just
Where do you see this?
thousands of little lures and hand painted.
Knowing that he carved all these.
Yeah, this is amazing. And look at the workmanship too on the paint. These are beautiful hand painted plaques all through here.
I couldn't get as much done
Catfish.
once I opened up to the public.
Wow.
So now, 'cause I spend
Really
my
cool.
time-
Oh, and check out up top here. That's an art glass fish.
And now
That
I'm
one is art glass. That's crazy.
I can just do it, make anything.
Talk about a step back in time, guys. I hope you're appreciating this video. I am just in awe right here at what a skill, a true
Well, if you have a couple,
skill,
2 or 3 days,
lost art right here, hand making lures
2 or 3 days.
right here in Clifton, Ohio. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful
You
work.
talk about your time and effort.
This is amazing.
The average and fancy, it was made in Indiana,
Yeah,
and I've got a whole.
you got a whole slew of Jakes
yeah,
over there.
I got a whole box of them.
All right,
And some of these stuff are meant in the packs, meaning they're full.
right, right.
That right there.
What's the age of that pack? Is that from like the 40s or 50s or
Yeah,
something?
that right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep. The
Okay.
oldest let's see, the oldest one in Pfluger is this one. This is the old box,
Okay.
okay, versus the stripe.
Yeah.
And that's never been used. That's still
Wow,
full.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And there's a lot of guys that collect the small stuff because it doesn't take up the room that the
Yeah.
big stuff
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. I get
Like the
it.
old sinker tins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is an old fisherman's dream house
That's
here.
fun, and that spells tackle. I didn't see that until I looked through the
Yeah,
camera.
I'd sell that.
Tackle. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
$65 for it because they sell for 150 to, well, I've seen them sell for upwards of 200.
Okay.
Some of them are rectangular, but that's
Yeah.
the biggest round one
That's
I
the
ever seen
biggest
in my
round one.
life.
That's sweet. It's awesome.
Very cool.
And I don't even know how many years. Okay, and it's still in that
The
cellophane.
original box.
Yeah, in the original boxes. That's got to be worth $10. That spear there, I'd have to have $100 for that.
Okay.
And
Sturgeon
if
scale.
you couldn't get 100 and a half,
Pretty
175
cool.
out of that, regulation on size started to vary.
Yeah.
When they started taking lots and lots of them.
Right.
Because they were taking them for food, okay?
Right.
They'd sell the roe off, that's caviar.
Right.
So they'd sell that off, keep the meat for themselves. Well, these decoys were put down so that you didn't take a fish that was undersized.
Okay.
Okay.
And there were very few guys that made these big boys. And the last one I had, I got $3,000 out of.
Yeah.
And I'd have to have 1,200 out of that. That is just awesome. I don't even know how he got these anchored, but you try and pick that up. They have never been fished.
Oh, look at that.
They're all
Those are all
fine,
cool.
brand new.
Pretty amazing.
That's the smallest decoy I ever made.
Right there. That's a mini.
Dandy.
The colors. How do you get these colors? I mean, this has to be a.
And that's another thing. I got tired of making my fish look like a rainbow trout.
Yeah.
I mean, Mother Nature made it's a bad land.
That is an awesome
That's a bad
piece.
land. Well, this one's going to be even better.
Yeah. This is in the works.
That's gonna be cool.
And most of these plaques that you see that
Yeah.
are painted
Yeah.
was after the heart attack because they wouldn't let me do anything super physical.
Right.
And I said, well, what about painting? Well, hell, I could go to the Hobby Lobby and buy these slab woods,
Right.
and then I could paint
Then
them.
you can paint them up.
Yeah, yeah.
You make the owls too?
Oh, yeah.
Those are cool.
This will be for sale. That'll be for sale
Okay.
if you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very
I've
interesting.
got several of those in the house. That
Okay.
I'm keeping.
Now, what is the
Those
white?
are unfinished.
These are just unfinished
It's
ones?
not- I've got to finish it.
That's all wood.
That's going to be a snowy.
Okay.
That owl right there.
That's beautiful stuff.
And then I got a big.
How many projects do you keep going at one time?
Oh, boy.
All of them, right?
I've got-
You got 30, 40, 50 things going at any given time?
You know, I get on a spell and I not say, okay, I want to fill a rack. Okay,
Look at
this
that.
rack's filled, ready now to paint.
Yeah.
These are
So you got these filled and ready to paint.
now ready to. I've got them all weighted. They're ready to go. They're sanded, ready
Right.
to paint.
Ready to paint
All
out.
these are ready to paint,
Right.
and this is how they are after the rough out.
Okay.
Okay, now I'll carve it, weight it, put the bill in it,
Yeah.
put the eyes in it, you
Right.
know, and that
Pretty amazing.
is all good.
That's those over there on the backside.
When we were picking it up, and I read the sign that says, "Please do not handle."
Says, please do not handle, Josh. You're going to get in trouble.
Pick that bad boy up.
Is it a heavy one?
This one I just did. I was just picking it up. I was like, that's weighted. That's so cool.
That's a dandy.
Jimmy and Josh are in heaven today. This is a treat. Field trip for the boys.
And if nothing else, it's a great field trip.
That's awesome.
It's awesome to see this workmanship.
I'm telling you, the workmanship is just beautiful on everything.
Workmanship's not around.
The
People
Fish
don't do it
Decoy
anymore.
Company.
That's what we were saying earlier.
Look at the
You're
work.
not going to get rich doing it. You're not going to make a ton of money. You're gonna
Beautiful,
have a
beautiful,
great-
beautiful.
No,
You have to have a
Start right there with the
Right. I
drawings.
start with the drawing,
Okay.
and you can see there's two different tails here.
Yeah.
This one's more pinched, and I get, and from that,
From that comes, it just shapes up.
then I may cut this out, and from that, then it looks like that, and of course this is this.
It's that one.
right
Wow.
there. And so there's There's the product. This is from here, the drawing, and then here's the template.
Wow, that's amazing.
This is what
That's the template
cutoff.
next.
I always make the block a tad bigger, so if I like it, then there'll be one of these. If I don't, then I go, yeah, that's okay, but I ain't making them more. But if I do, then I'm going to have one of those, and so now I've got.
Now you got a template
I've got
for it.
everything there that you see, and then
Before
the measurements I write down on there so that I make sure that it's within.
That's what I find cool too. Is like
You know, it
the
ain't gonna be.
measurements.
They're not going to be.
Look at the
good.
measurements on that.
7 3/4, 1 3/8.
I mean, you're talking lift,
Moon eye. That's
width,
pretty cool.
depth, length.
So you're gonna sell this guy too?
This right here is mother of
The old
pearl
mother of pearl
eyes.
buttons they'd be in a
Mother
jar.
pearl button eyes.
Some lady
That's
had in
pretty
her
special
booth.
right there.
And I was always looking for
Purchased the eyes, purchased from the heart of Ohio.
Let me keep up with that, with all the ash trees that I lost.
Yeah.
Fish is swimming like he's suspended in the lake.
He's swimming through the log. This is what he was fishing with when he got snagged up.
That's funny.
But I would let that go. I sold it to him when he ordered it. Probably was around $400 or $500, something like that. I'd take $250 for it. But it's signed and dated.
That out. All that carving right there is one piece. Pretty amazing.
Including the fish in its mouth.
The fish in its mouth is carved from one piece of wood.
Oh, that is
One that's not painted yet. It's carved
The more
out.
you look, the more you find.
Really cool folk art diorama by George White. It's signed.
You know, I even
George
got the
Weiss.
Like I got one for each. My book has
St.
one for
Paul,
each
Minnesota.
Kind of give me an idea.
Very cool. You cut your thumb all the way off,
Yeah,
huh?
see that?
Oh yeah.
With that dimple?
That right there is
That was
tools of
gone.
the trade.
See that scar going that way?
Wow.
And then the little one I just did now.
Skills is
Oh yeah, I got them there, there, there. This hand takes a beating.
right there, those knives are sharp,
But
guys. If you ever
the
get
good
carving,
thing
be
is
careful.
they're so sharp. Well,
There you
that
go,
one's
that's-
got to go.
That's when the wipe and the brush. That's how thick that
Yeah.
piece is. Look at that. So that used to be a flat piece of wood.
Oh, yeah,
and
just like
this
this.
thing weighs. What does it weigh? A pound?
oh wow. Yeah.
It used to be paper thin like this one.
And that,
And-
look at that.
look
Look
at
at
that.
the ridge on that.
That's a lot of excess
So
paint.
when after I clean the brush and of course the little
Yeah,
the
just
wash,
washing it out
clean
there.
it off, and dry it out. Then I put them back in the thing. But if there's any paint left on here, I do scrape it off with those little metal tools in that first jar
Yeah.
and put it back into the tube. But I
Okay.
never get it all off, and this is what happens.
That's just
It
build
keeps
up over
building,
time.
And then when I put paint on this, it just rolls off and goes down the side. Well, okay, time to get another one.
Definitely tell.
That's funny. That's excess paint right here. So that's not that's just paint pile.
That's just the width of the paint.
the width of the paint.
Oh,
See, there,
over the
here it
years.
is. When that's the width of the board. So all that's just paint buildup from years and years and years of painting. That's a good workbench.
Oh, that is great.
Oh, great story. Just get to know this shop right here, guys. This is like going back in history. One of a kind treasure right here. Hope you enjoyed it. Blessings, everybody out there. Well, Jimmy, what do you think?
Well, I'm telling you what, that's right out of awesome. It's awesome. Look at that. The Fish Decoy Company. Look at that shop. Now tell me that doesn't go back a few years.
Now that right there is folk art Americana, as Americana folk art as you get. I love it.
Sure is.
That's rare. That is rare. That's so cool.